Daniel, I gotta tell you, it's awesome to see what you guys are doing. Like, you're leading the charge for small businesses, and most, it's funny. I've heard that Albuquerque and New Mexico in general were never really up to par in when it came to business in general. But you know what? You guys have really totally changed that mindset, and I want to congratulate you first of all, because that type of like a progressive thinking we're not even seen in the bigger cities. And why is that happening here?
Well, what happened was, for too long we pander over these huge companies that came in, the Boeings or whatever, and they say, hey, we're going to bring 400 jobs, and then we give away the farm. We were trying to bid. It was like the only girl at the prom. There was 10 guys, and so we would do everything trying to. That's right. And so we said, let's reassess this, because after a while, it's the bottom line for a lot of these corporations. They have no ties to the city or the county, so they say, hey, once we're not making anything, we leave. So you have an abandoned shell.
And they pull those 400 jobs that they promised you.
Exactly. And so what we said, okay, what made America great? Where is the backbone? It's these small business people, these bakers, these people who have dry cleaning, these people who do little things but employ 2 or 3 people. I said, too often, we don't pay attention to them. And I'll tell you, there's one guy, he runs this company, and they're a delivery service. And he is a multi-million-dollar company. Local guy, grew up here. And he came up to me, he says, you know what, you guys are wasting your time. He said, I'm going to tell you, this big corporation is going to fail. He goes, all these cities are chasing me, but no one cares about me here. What makes me want to stay here? My family's here, I love this, everything, I grew up here. He goes, but you guys don't pay attention to me. You give incentives, you give away the farm to everyone, but you don't do anything for small business. And it really bothered me, because these are my neighbors. These are the people I go to church with. And so I said, we have to change the playing field. Let's do something different. So how can we focus on small business and do something for them?
Well, and so many times you have to sit across the table from these people every day, or like every other day, or whatever, and you have to answer that question. Why aren't you helping like the little guy when we're like busting our butt to pay our taxes, to do all this stuff, and then you give away all this money to like the big corporations. So now what was that the defining moment, though?
It was. And so we said, okay. And then what happens is government usually comes in and they tell you what you should do. You need to do this. And, it makes no sense, because most bureaucrats, including myself, have never run a business. And I consider myself, I work in government. I don't know what it's like to meet a payroll. I don't know what it's like to stay up at night.
I'll tell you, sometimes it sucks.
That's right. And so I said, who am I to tell a business owner what they need? So I said, let's do something different. Let's I asked the commissioners to pick out 5 businesses in their district. We went out, we said, hey, tell us the problems, tell us what we can do. We didn't talk, and we heard great moving stories, about, the problems they face, the obstacles, the same thing, staying up late. So we're developing a program, taking what they hear, and this is part of hearing what they hear, and saying, okay, how can we do it? How can we change? How can we go back?
Well, and what, with these businesses, right, what was the major problems or the major difficulties that you found that they had, or that they were looking for help with?
Well, it's amazing. At the onset, I thought people would say access to capital, that, I can't get loans. But, we really heard anything like that. We heard one guy say, we want to buy from other small businesses because our shipping costs. So we don't know who sells this one product.
Right.
So can we buy it locally? Another guy said, and I mentioned earlier, we want to know the person who knows what we do not know. There's no resource that we can call up and they can say, well, how do I get a loan? Or how do I get through this permitting process? Another guy said, when I go for an RFP, there's 5 different websites. So I had to look here one day, look here on another. I don't know what pops up. Another guy, and this was amazing, he said, I really don't need no help. What I need are people who don't have DWI convictions. I need drivers.
Right. That's all. Can you give me a resource that can drive for me.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
He said these guys, the people come in. He runs a large construction company, and he says, I need guys. They come in, and I ask them for their driver's license, and they have DWIs, but they drive anyway. But they don't understand they need a driver's license. That hasn't been revoked. And so,
I love that.
He goes, that's my challenge.
Well, at least they have initiative, right?
So, what we did, and you'll see announcing them, one of the things we want to do is create one website with a city, county, state. So a small business owner can go to one place and see all the bids that are open. Another thing we want to do is have a pool of money where we can lend $10,000 at a time to different people. They go, just lend them $10,000. Maybe they need to get over the hump.
Yeah, I got to tell you, what I've been seeing with this administration and you guys, specifically, is that you're really taking, and I hate that phrase, thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
See, you guys, there is no box anymore. And you crush the box and you rip it apart, and then you said, you know what? Let's go to the public and see what they need, and let's give it to them.
Right.
And it's amazing. How do you think that new media, internet, web, and all that can help you guys do your job better?
Well, what you're doing now, just streaming this, what you're doing, asking these questions, is invaluable for the people who can't come here. So I compliment you.
I'm actually pretty good at it, right?
That's right. You're very good at it. You should do this for a living. We need to get this guy on the national,
But it's, I can take some of the credit for being a good host, but you're the people that I want to be talking to. You're the ones that are taking the initiative, and you guys are really, taking the risks for us. Because you're an elected official. If you do something, let's say, wrong, your career's done.
Right.
And you're putting your neck on the line every day for us. And, I just want to congratulate you and thank you so much for doing what you're doing, because the progressive thinking that I'm seeing in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County is just right on. And, I'm glad to live here, because I've lived in most of the major cities, and I said, you know what, I'm going to live here because there is better thinking here, and it's not just better, it's intuitive thinking, and I've never seen that in a city or a county government before.
It's the same thing. It's the old story, and I heard this once, is that we were going through this thing, and people are trying to tell us, we have this program to do that, this program to do that, and I said, you know what, screw the programs. Let's think outside, not even outside, let's create something new. Who says we have to operate within those parameters? Who says we have to do everything else everyone else does? Create something new. Those are the best things.
Well, I'm so glad that you're creating stuff new.